welcome to the MDVA Movie Club. I am Matt.
I'm Dan.
Kayla.
Wyatt.
Seth.
Hey, welcome everybody. Thank you for tuning in for another week. We are here another week, another movie. Before we get to this week's movie, though, you know what I like to do? I like to go around and say, how is everybody? How's everybody doing? How's everybody's week?
All is well.
Okay. Very, very enthusiastic bunch. Wyatt, I hope you don't mind me putting this out there, but you're working on a passion project, sir, that I'm very excited about. Can you share a little bit?
So, my very first vehicle ever, 2001 Dodge van, turning it into the Mystery Machine.
He is, and I gotta say, he's doing it. Like I've seen pictures, and he's actually doing it. Like it's looking legit.
I'm so excited.
It excites me, and I don't even drive it.
Childhood dream.
Do you own a dog?
Yeah, do you own a dog?
I own a cat.
Oh. Well, who would you be in the Scooby-Doo gang?
Probably Shaggy.
Yeah, I could see that.
The whole reason I grew this out. That's
Shaggy and his cat.
Shaggy and his cat.
You need a dog.
I mean, you could get away with a cat, but, you know, it just have to be a very hungry cat.
Yeah.
You need a kitty snack? How about 2 kitty snacks?
Shaking the meow mix. Come on, let's solve a mystery, guys.
Did anybody watch anything other than 1408, which is what we're here to discuss? Oh, I see a hand. Wyatt, what'd you watch?
Finally watched Shang-Chi.
How did you like it, sir?
Probably one of my favorites.
Boom.
Yeah, so out of 10, just because everyone else kind of threw that out there, what would you give it?
I would genuinely give it 9.5.
Yeah, that's about average. Seth, you gave it like an 8, right? Yeah, he liked the fight scenes. Yeah, but yeah, no, Shang-Chi, folks, if you haven't seen that, turn us off. We'll be here. Go watch Shang-Chi in the movie theater. It's the bomb. Yeah, I just brought back the bomb. Did anybody else watch anything before I get to what I watched?
Oh, yeah, man. Kayla and I ended up watching Malignant. You tune in now, streaming on HBO Max for a limited time. And we're going to be talking about 2 horror movies. One of them's probably going to get the worst review I've ever given a film, and that would be Malignant. For me, at least, it was... It tried to be fast-paced, it tried to have a lot going on, but a lot of twists and turns that were kind of easy to guess where it was heading. Same director as what brought you the Saw movies,
Insidious.
and Insidious, yes. And then, unfortunately, I felt like there was a lot going on. It was driven mostly by gore more than anything. It tried to do jump scares. They did not work well. It tried to build a plot, which I thought was kind of shallow. I just really did not enjoy that movie at all.
It was probably the dumbest thing I've ever seen.
I watched Malignant, and I'm going to be on the other side of the fence. I actually kind of enjoyed it. Now, it wasn't perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but I had fun with it.
You, sir, are a very sick man.
I am very sick, although, hey, today as we're filming this is my last quarantine day, so I can go back out in the world as of tomorrow. So by the time everyone's watching this, Matt's already back out there, baby. I enjoyed Malignant. It wasn't perfect. Like I said, it wasn't groundbreaking. The guy, James Wan, definitely has made better movies. But I got what he was trying to do, and I thought it was original. I thought it was different. I did not see where it was going. And then by the time I figured out where it was going, it was like the last 5 minutes of the movie, and I didn't care anyway. So I was for it. I was more for it than against it.
Question: Was it worse than Mad Max 2, or was it better?
It was definitely a horrible movie for me. Yeah, I would definitely put it like Mad Max was, again, I think I gave you a 5.5. I'd put this movie at like a 3. It was terrible.
For what? For the time that Mad Max came out, like I could see how that was an excellent movie, and then now Malignant being released, it had so much potential, like especially in the trailer, that I would rate Mad Max over Malignant.
And there's just I don't know, like I appreciate horror movies that kind of have a slow build up. This kind of throws you right into it. For me, it was like, again, I don't want to spoil anything. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. But there was one scene where you see somebody, and I literally turned to Kayla. I was like, "Doesn't that look like the lady standing backwards?" And if you watch that movie, that's only like a quarter of the way into it, and it just kind of reveals, spoiler alert, the whole freaking end of the movie, and it's terrible.
Yeah, it was really bad.
Oh, I think I know the plot of it now.
I also watched Clickbait on Netflix,
Oh.
the 8-episode limited series. That was amazing. That sucked me in hard. I was turned on Netflix, which I never do unless I'm specifically looking for something, because Netflix just doesn't have it for me much anymore. But I turned it on and it was like, because I was homesick and I was like, what am I going to watch? I need something to watch. It's the first thing that popped up. And I watched the trailer for it and I was like, oh my gosh, like this. I heard other people talking about it and I was like, this looks good. So I sat and watched all 8 episodes in one sitting. They're like 30-40 minute episodes, but I sat and watched all 8 of them. And I cannot praise that enough. So if you haven't, go watch Clickbait on Netflix, because there really is no debate. That is really good, and I think everyone will enjoy that. Seth, did you watch anything?
Yes. So I know for a fact I watched Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil. It was a 97 Clint Eastwood movie with John Cusack from 1408 and Kevin Spacey starring in it. And didn't get to really pay full attention to it because I was writing a paper, but I did really enjoy it. It was a lot of fun. And then I
Oh no. He's trying to tell us something.
I watched like bits and pieces of other movies because The Amazing Spider-Man 2 with my little cousin. Hello.
You got bits and
Hello.
pieces of The Amazing Spider-Man 2 is what I got.
I heard Macaulay Culkin.
Okay.
Macaulay Culkin? Did you watch Macaulay Culkin?
No.
He's in American Horror Story right now. He's in the new season.
Have you watched any of that?
I attempted to watch the first episode. I couldn't get into it.
They lost me a couple seasons back.
Same.
Seth, are you here? Are you with us again?
I'm here.
Okay.
Poor Seth.
What was it that you watched?
I know.
Well, I tried watching Amazing Spider-Man 2,
Oh, I'm sorry.
but I was liking it until I had to turn it off because we were going to a wrestling show, so I had to leave. But I got to watch Old McIntyre. Yes, sir. But did you hear about my Clint Eastwood movie I watched, or did you not?
Yeah, we got that much. It was
Okay.
a Spider-Man talk that kind of jumbled it up.
Okay, then that's it.
So
I watched Jurassic Park and blah, blah, blah. I've seen it a million times.
Classic.
Good pick.
Yeah, we know Dan loves that movie. The news. It's time for the news. We need a little jingle for the news. Seth sends me the news, not anymore because I told him to stop, and he just reads it on here now. So, Seth, what did you find in the news for us?
A ton. It's been a busy week. So, I'm gonna try and talk slow so it does not cut out.
And you know I like to interrupt you after each story anyway, so just
In between stories, if that too. So
yeah.
So there's a new movie coming out starring Al Pacino, Danny DeVito, Morgan Freeman, and something Mirren. I didn't write her
Mirren?
first name. I guess I forget.
Helen
Did
Mirren?
this? Sure, we're gonna go with that. That was a very quick addition, so I apologize for forgetting her first name.
The news guy and not even reporting accurate news.
I have a full-time job and I'm a full-time student. You know, cut me a break, okay?
Okay, let's go.
Jason Statham is gonna star in a beekeeper movie.
Wait.
Can't wait for that one.
Wait. What happened to the Al Pacino Helen Mirren movie?
That's it. It's a movie. Yes. It sounds interesting. It's like
We don't know what it's about. We don't know what it's called. We don't know who's directing it. We don't know anything.
I mean, I know a little bit about it, but not much.
What are we
like,
doing here?
At least we know a little bit about the movie, Matt. Let him go. Let him.
We know
Let him
something's being
go.
made with somebody. Go ahead.
Are you sure?
Yes. Go
I mean,
ahead.
you haven't fired me yet?
No. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, back to Jason Statham being a beekeeper. That's going to be happening. I don't know much else about it. It's just he's going to be a beekeeper. I don't know if it's an action movie. I freaking hope so. I don't know how you're going to make a movie about that, but with Jason Statham. Halloween Kills, the new Halloween movie, will be premiering in theaters as well as on Peacock on October 15th. So go see it in theaters, please.
I read this. Yes, I fully intend to watch it in theaters, and then if I like it, which I will, I'll watch it on Peacock afterwards. But that's a day one for me. You guys know, that's a day one for me. I'm there, all for that Michael Myers. I have a life-size Michael Myers that I used to keep up year-round, and now I put up annually. So there's no way I'm not seeing that in the theater.
That's just like, come on.
Okay, sorry. Go ahead.
What a great host.
If any of you can do better, I will gladly turn it over to you next week.
Okay. Jeez.
Okay. It was a little easier than it should have been.
So, the Mad Max spin-off movie called Furiosa has been delayed till May 24th, 2024. So that's nothing new for the Mad Max franchise. You know, movies get pushed back and postponed and just canceled all the time. It's extremely frustrating for us true diehard fans.
How old is George Miller?
I don't even know. He's getting up there.
Right?
He's not that old. He's not like Clint Eastwood, but he's getting up there.
Okay. I was just curious. Because the longer they push things off, it makes you wonder. Anyway, go ahead.
No, see, the issue with like the Mad Max movies being delayed is like Austria, where they film all the movies at. It's like when they were going to be making Fury Road originally with Mel Gibson, like there was just huge rain in Australia, which made the desert not a desert anymore. It was like lush and beautiful. So they're like, well, what the heck? We can't film here now. So then there was another issue where like the American dollar dropped drastically in the exchange to Australia, so they like lost a quarter of their budget or something. So that's why that movie got pushed back for so long. So it just kind of worries me that they're just not going to make this movie. So we'll find out.
Yeah.
Next up, Andy Garcia has joined the star-studded cast of Expendables 4. So at least we got a good name in there. I like Andy. So hopefully the rest of the cast, gets better. Yeah. Owen Wilson and Rosario Dawson, they joined the Haunted Mansion movie. So.
Isn't that Eddie Murphy movie?
They're making a new one.
Oh, is it like a sequel or a remake?
I don't know.
Is Eddie Murphy
Disney. I doubt it.
Okay.
Disney being Disney.
Okay.
There was the Hawkeye trailer. Didn't watch it, so can't say anything more
I
about that.
didn't watch it either. But I got the sense that it's very Christmassy. Is that true? Did anyone here watch it?
Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. Does it look good? I mean, I'm gonna watch the show because I dig the character, but I just haven't gotten around to watch the trailer yet.
All right, and then Christopher Nolan's new movie is supposed to be about the father of the atom bomb, and I just read like 30 minutes before the show started that apparently he signed with Universal to do the movie. Not exactly positive on that, but I do know he's not dealing with Warner Brothers anymore, so we'll see.
Right, because he's upset at Warner for releasing movies on streaming or something instead
Yeah,
of
he's
theatrical.
very against streaming.
Yeah.
The new Predator movie has wrapped filming, and they confirmed that Amber Midthunder is going to be the lead character. So I looked her up because I didn't know who she was, but I can definitely see her in a Predator franchise. So I'm very pumped about that movie. Predator 1 is in my top 5 movies of all time. So can't wait. And Colin Farrell Penguin spinoff is in the works at HBO Max. So Colin Farrell has not signed on yet, but they're making a Penguin series for HBO Max, and they're probably going to have Colin Farrell sign on. So can't wait for that. And then finally, for the second week in a row, we're going to end on a sad note. Norm Macdonald has passed away. Old Turd Ferguson himself, unfortunately, has passed on.
Yeah, that is late breaking news as we're recording this. That kind of just made the news. You know, had we recorded this yesterday, that wouldn't have happened. That would have been on this. But is that it?
That is it.
Give it up for Seth. Everybody brought us the news. That was a big week. Whew.
Yeah.
1408. Are we ready to discuss? It was Wyatt's pick. Do we have stats before we jump in?
So we do know with this movie that it was based on a Stephen King short story, which Kayla actually ended up reading for this, so we'll talk a little bit about that later.
Wow.
I'm a huge Stephen King fan. A lot of movies that have came out based on his works, definitely top our list. We all know The Shining. We all know Misery. We all know. I mean, there's a lot to name. It just goes on and on. But anyways, the budget for this was 22 million. Ended up bringing in 122 million in the box office. Starring John Cusack. If you haven't known, again, man is a horror writer. Checks into a hotel. Against the advice of the hotel manager, is told that, man, you don't want this room. He's like, I do want this room. And that's just a summary of it to wrap it up. And then let's get on to the reviews because I know Mr. Wyatt's on a time crunch.
Yeah, Wyatt picked the movie, so Wyatt gets to go first. Wyatt, thank you so much for joining us again this evening. It's great having you 3 episodes in a row. That's awesome.
Woo!
Doing
Wyatt,
great.
1408. What are your thoughts?
I love the movie. Hands down, one of my favorites. First, I'm a little biased because I grew up with the movie. Second, it's just a great story. Like, it's probably one of the best stories I've ever seen in a movie.
Have you seen The Shining?
Yeah.
Okay, just checking. Go ahead. Sorry.
Yeah. Try to talk smack, Matt.
I'm just asking a question.
I don't know. It's one of my favorites. Plus,
Okay.
I really like John Cusack and then Samuel L. Jackson. Now, I will admit, it's been a hot minute since I've rewatched it. Some of the CGI, like with the ghost and stuff like that, outdated. But story-wise, still considered one of my favorites. I think the movie is brilliant. and honestly really sad. And actually, after rewatching it the other night, like I kind of noticed this cool little thing about the movie that I've never even noticed. But every time he's on his breaking point, to where, you know, most people, they don't survive an hour in the room. The room demon, whatever you want to say, would like mess with him and like show him something of his dead daughter, and then just pisses him off, and then he goes ham for as long as he can. Then he starts to break down a little bit more. Then boom, sees her dress, and he's like right back to it. And like it's almost like, oh, that was his way of keeping going instead of all the other 84 deaths that were recorded in the room, I think. And I was like, that's really cool. I love this movie so much more now.
Very cool. Out of 10, where are you?
9.
Wow. 9 out of 10 for Wyatt. Okay. Very cool. Who wants to go next?
Go.
Okay.
So again, I stated, like we were before the show, we were going down my hall and we were like showing my pop figures of Nightmare Before Christmas. You go downstairs, I got a ton of books, Stephen King, like Matt. I think you've seen them before, like top to bottom, just Stephen King. Love Stephen King.
I'm very jealous of your collection.
He's an awesome writer, and a lot of the story, or a lot of the movies based on his works, while not 100% true to what's written. I think they do a lot of good movies with his work, period. So, 1408 for me, is it a solid horror film? I think yes. Is it something that I'm going to put at the top of my list? Probably not. If I was going to go through, let's say 1408 is a story about a haunted hotel room. And looking back at some different works, and again, this is not the same people involved, but you look at Stephen King's, I know we talked about that film adaptation of, The Shining. We're looking at a whole hotel, and it's almost like you're taking, a micro view at a macro story. And we're talking about how this hotel has such rich history, and we're condensing it down to one room. And I think that kind of narrowed what they're able to do. Like, how are they all killing themselves in this room? It's like, after 80 some people die in this room, like, why wouldn't we just close that whole freaking floor off? Let's do something. I don't know, but I get it. I think that he, as a writer, puts a lot of himself into his stories. And again, Kayla's going to talk about it a little bit in her review, so I don't want to get too far into it. But this was a short story, and I feel like there wasn't a lot of material to go off of to make this movie. But for what they did, again, I'd say solid. Not the top of my list. I think John Cusack did a good job. I think you're right when the hotel manager's telling him don't go in that room. Like, I think he was very convincing. So I think the acting on certain points really good. Just as a whole, the movie just is not at the top of my list. So I'm gonna go, unfortunately, right in the middle, right at a 5. I think for this movie. But yeah.
Okay.
Does that make me next?
Whoever wants to go next can go.
You want to go next, Seth, or what?
Go for it.
Okay. So yeah, I did read the short story after I watched the film. I had seen the film like a long time ago, but so the whole point of me reading it was just to see if there was any depth to the actual movie, because I got absolutely nothing from the movie. I don't really feel like it told a complete story. I feel like it was just like you're thrown into this whole hotel room and you're supposed to be like, oh my god, is it haunted? Is it a demon? Is he trapped inside his own mind? Blah blah blah. So I read the story, and like Dan said, it's a short story. It's like 40 pages long. It's not meant to be a long story. and really the story is like almost completely different from the book. So in the movie, I think they were literally grasping at straws. um, I don't think the acting was good. I don't think the story was good. I was not convinced by John Cusack's performance in this. I've seen a ton of other films that he's done wonderfully. Um, so whoever wrote this screenplay, because when you adapt a novel, a film, a book, like I've seen two films for me that have really stayed true to the book, but when you try to do that, you want to stay true to the story. You want to make it make sense. To me, I feel like this was a waste of time. I'm sorry, Wyatt. They should never made this movie because there's like no point. It's perfect as a short story, and it should stay at that. And I feel like they tried so hard to make it a sob dramatic story, and for me, it was just like a waste of
Well,
time.
tell them the differences between the book and the movie.
Yeah, I've
Well,
never,
okay,
I never
so
read the book.
so like pretty much half of the story, like 20 pages, he's sitting in Mr. Olin's office, and Mr. Olin is pleading to him not to stay in this room, blah, blah, blah. So, and then he goes into the room, and he only lasts 70 minutes in the room. And the room actually like starts turning like gooey, and like the walls start shaping, and they turn into mouths, and there's like things like the wallpaper is coming down, and it's like this big buzzing sound that starts to happen. And there was a really cool part in the story where like he answers the phone, and it starts like screaming numbers at him, like floor numbers, and it's telling him like all your friends are dead, don't answer the siren, like a whole bunch of crazy stuff to mess with him. But anyway, the ending is he sets himself on fire and gets out of the room, and somebody throws a bucket of ice on him, and he stops being a writer at the end. um and like the room deteriorated his health, deteriorated his mind. He no longer answers phones. He no longer can watch the sunset. Like the whole thing, like it like screwed him up. But anyway, sorry, like I get like trying not to just like ramble on here, because Seth, you do not look like you're entertained at all. I see you like staring into like a corner of your room or something. But anyway, it just was not entertaining to me. I feel like they could have never made this movie, and I would have been okay with it. So I really like give it like a 3 out of 10 for me. I thought it was absolute shite. Sorry to anybody listening. It just was not good.
Oh,
Grief.
Sorry.
Now,
Seth, I know how it feels now. I'm so sorry.
No,
It
like
wasn't
seriously,
bad, not
like
really that bad. They just went like off on yours. So
I know.
no, I'm so sorry. Why?
Like,
It just
well,
like
for the time. And here comes Kayla. She's like, dude, screw this movie. Trash.
gosh. Okay. Well, first of all, the story that you described, I really dig that. Like, I had not read the story either. I mean, that's the movie I want to see.
You'd almost prefer that, right? Because
Yeah.
it gives it more depth for the
Yeah.
character rather than, oh yeah, he had a daughter.
For sure. Just because she did mention, I looked it up. The writers, who wrote it, who adapted it, Matt Greenberg, Scott Alexander, and Larry Krasinski are the writers of this, obviously, who adapted the Stephen King short story. Seth, do you want to go, or do you want me to go, and then you wrap up?
I don't care either way.
You're not giving me much to work with. I'll go ahead and go. I don't have much to say. This movie is something that I want to like very much. And it's not that I dislike it. It's that every time that I've watched it, and I mean every time, from like the very first time when it was brand new to as recently as the other day when I tried to watch this, I fall asleep every time without fail. I have not seen this movie from start to finish ever in my life. Not even after watching it for this. We know we're supposed to watch it for this. I sat down to watch it for this, and I still fell asleep. about the same time every time too. Let me just throw that out there. Once he gets into the room, I'm out. Like it, I literally, when he gets in the room, I check out.
What?
Like no pun intended. I check out. It just doesn't. It loses me, and I don't know if that's the movie or if that's just me, or it very well could just be me, but maybe not after hearing Kayla's review. But I mean, Dan kind of said it. If I want to watch a scary Stephen King hotel story, I'm going to watch The Shining all day, every day, twice on Sunday, and that's a long Sunday. But I don't hate this movie. I've seen the beginning. I like it, intrigues me, it grabs me right away. I've not seen where he's in the room. I've seen bits and pieces when I've like opened up my eyes and like seen things happening. I'm like, oh, that's weird. But,
Oh man.
and then I've seen the end. I've watched the ending. I've woken up and seen the ending a few times. But so it's just kind of like that middle piece where he's in the room that I've not been able to watch for whatever reason. And I love John Cusack. He's an actor that's up there for me. You know, I wouldn't say, I'm not going to come up with a top anything, but he's definitely in the top whatever for me. And you know, I don't have a problem with Samuel L. Jackson. You know, he's very, very good in this, just like he is in almost everything that he does. And this, I will say, I didn't feel he was as Samuel L. Jackson in this. Like, I felt he was acting, which is something I hadn't seen Samuel L. Jackson do in a while. Because the last 10 years or so, Samuel L. Jackson has played Samuel L. Jackson. Whereas in this, I feel like he was actually trying, and I bought his performance. So I'll give him that as well. Again, don't hate it, but I'm always going to go The Shining over this. And you probably shouldn't compare because they are two different stories, but they're two different stories by the same guy about kind of the same thing. So I'm comparing. 6 out of 10 for me.
All right. So I can attest that I did not hate it nearly as much as Kayla, but I also didn't love it as much as Wyatt. I went into this with every intention of not liking it because I wanted to have a review where I could just bash someone's movie. And it caught me off guard, I will say. I actually really enjoyed it. Now, I'm not a huge horror movie fan. I get spooked pretty easily, so horror is not necessarily my thing. But I did really enjoy this movie. Heck, I've always known John Cusack, but I never really knew much of his movies. And after watching this movie, I was scrolling through looking for things I could find to watch of his. And I did watch Midnight in the Garden of Good and Evil yesterday because I wanted to watch another John Cusack movie. And yeah, it caught me off guard. I was like, I'm not gonna like this. I was talking to Matt, and I was like, yeah,
He was trying to back out of it.
I wasn't trying to back out.
I was like, no.
I was thinking.
I was like, they bought this movie just so you can watch it.
I have homework to do. I had a midterm paper to write, and I was very behind. But I did end up watching it, and I'd probably give it 7 out of 10. Because there towards the end, it was starting to get a little bit too silly for me, like the false ending, and then having him come back. I was like, just end it. There's no need for a false ending. Just get to the point. But I didn't really like it.
Nice.
So 7 is you?
7.
7 is you. And Wyatt is 9, and Kayla is 3, and Dan is 5. And I am 6. There it is. That's not terrible. I mean, it's an average movie. 1408, everybody, if you haven't watched it, go check it out. I was going to say I would recommend it. Maybe not everyone on this panel would recommend, but I'd
Kayla would.
recommend it.
No, Kayla hates it.
I wasn't going to throw under the bus, but well, you were watching, so you know who hates it, who doesn't. So that kind of got me in the mood for scary movies because I like doing that all October long, and even though it's only September, I made a list. I went ahead and started making the list of all the movies I want to watch in October, and when I got to number 75, I was like, well, maybe I should start now. So I've put James Bond on pause and have been watching horror movies so I can get through most of the 75. And that's not anything. I was talking to Seth last night, I think, and you know how we get to pick a movie every time it's our turn. I have the next, and it's not healthy. I don't even know if this show's going to last that long. I hope to God it does. I'm having a blast with it, but I have the next 29 movies picked for me.
I think the
a
next
lot of
6
time on your
years.
hand, brother.
That's
That's more than
God.
29 weeks because that's next 29 times that it's my turn, which is once a month. So for the next 29 months, the next 2 years, I have planned out on this show.
By that time, we better be freaking like YouTube famous or something. Like,
We should be, or else we might not make it past number 5.
by the time we get to 29, Matt's gonna have 75 more picked out.
yeah,
You're not wrong.
We're gonna be on our deathbed trying to do Zoom call. I'll be like,
No
sorry,
one will
Matt,
ever
I can't.
be able to pick a movie again. It's just all gonna be Matt's picks. So we'll just turn the show into Matt's movie pick of the week.
Can't do that. It's fun. It's fun watching new things and seeing what other people like. So we can't just have it all be me. But you know what it is next week.
you better pick a good movie on your next pick.
Next week, we are doing the fan pick. We asked and you answered. You gave us The Godfather, ladies and gentlemen. So we're watching.
Thanks, James Kirkpatrick, for that suggestion.
Shout out to James, loyal listener, viewer, watcher, person. Thank you very much. I'm sorry.
We used to work with him.
It's a random James.
Yeah. No, Dan and I both used to work with him, so we do know who he is. But he's like our show's biggest fan. So thank you for that.
Thanks, James.
Yep.
Come out with some merch just for you, James.
We are working on merch. If you haven't seen our Instagram, it's on there. News to Wyatt, I can tell.
Wait,
there is. Everyone will have some sort of merch here soon. Yes.
oh, that's so dope.
We can wear as we record these goofy little things for all 16 viewers. We love all 16 of you, and we will have merch for all 16 of you. But The Godfather is what we are watching next. I believe it is streaming on Paramount Plus, which I will get with all of you afterwards on how to watch that. Does anyone else have any last comments, 1408 or Godfather or anything else related you'd like to throw out before we wrap it up?
If you don't like The Godfather, I'm going to make you an offer you can't refuse. That's bottom line.
Slick.
That's there. All right.
Guys, I really like the merch shirt.
Oh, you're looking at it?
Yeah.
Yeah.
My assistant showed me.
It's not a good term to call her. They're white.
No, we're getting big now, guys. We got 16 viewers.
Yeah,
So I bought an assistant.
Well, you upgrade
That's
her
what you
to
pay for.
executive
Huh.
assistant. Jeez.
I'll do that when we get 20.
Okay, got you.
all right, everybody. If you want to join the club, let us know. Slide into our DMs. We're on Instagram at MDVA Movie Club. Or if you don't want to, but want us to talk about something, comment, like, subscribe. Let us know. We want to hear from you. Next week's episode is all happening because someone commented. So we are going to take the time out and do that. So feel free. We don't want to just hear from James. James, we love you, but we also want to hear from everyone else. So what else do you want to see? You know, let us know. I got nothing. The shark again. I don't understand it. I can't do this without everyone in the panel. Kayla, Dan, Seth, Wyatt, thank you so much for doing this with me every week. I know we are entertaining people. I hear from other people other than just James that do watch it, and they tell me that they're enjoying watching it. So we are making a difference in 16 people's lives. I got nothing. Everyone, have a great week. Love one another. Go watch The Godfather. We'll be back next week.